Good morning, this is Liz Bailey, Stampin' Up! Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Still getting it wrong, aren't I? I'm based in New Jersey, but I'm originally a Brit, which will explain the slightly bizarre accent, I think. I'm told by my family and friends that I actually sound mid-Atlantic, so who knows. I apologise if it's too noisy, but I can't do anything about the rain, which is scheduled, I think, to go on pretty much all day with possibly thunder. So hoping it stays at just rain and we'll get on okay. So this week I've done something different. I am showcasing a technique instead of a stamp set. And in order to showcase it, I decided to use a number of different stamp sets so you could see how it worked. So anyway, before I get started, let me tell you, or let me remind you, if you've been following me before, you will know these. If you place a $25 order using the host code that I'll post afterwards, I'll send you a free card kit so that you can make the cards. I also need to remind you that the $5 coupons that you get for each $50 of product ordered from Stampin' Up! Through me, the time to earn them ends tomorrow. So if you've still got stuff you want to buy and get coupons, you better get on with it. But the really good news is that on August the 4th, which is Tuesday, we can start to redeem our coupons, and it's kind of like a 10% discount, really, isn't it? $5 for 50, you know, it's not insignificant. So just to remind you there. And I'd like if you could share this video with your friends so that more people can see it. I would be extremely grateful. And if you send me a message and tell me you've done that, I'll put you in my raffle and you'll end up with a little surprise. And if you have friends that aren't on Facebook, and I know there are quite a number of people that aren't, I'm also on YouTube, and I'll post the information about that afterwards as well. So let me point you down so you can see what's going on. Hold on while I do that, because it's a bit unpleasant, I think, being moved like that. Now I'm going to move you forward, and I'd say, is that right? Just, yep, that looks good. Right, so let me just change my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. And this is what I'm going to make for you. Sorry about the shine there. Okay, so this one, I used the Forever Ferns, including for the sentiment, which is pretty cool. Okay, then I'm going to make this one, which is using Blossoms in Bloom. That looked like a good kind of one. Then I'm going to use Dandelion Wishes. Also a really good set for this. But I wanted to give you a little tip. I also decided to experiment. And let's see if I find the right one. There's one in here that's really, really bright and lots of colours. And I thought, oh, that could be fun. So I did it on this paper, and it really didn't work. I'll show you and then I tried to use the Celebrate Sunflowers, but you can see the background. Well, firstly, it's too busy. Secondly, you can see the background through I think it was Night of Navy that I put on it. So I think that the DSP won't absorb enough ink to make it viable. So just to save you trying that, I tried it for you and it doesn't work. So let's get out our little, this is what I would send, well, this is pre-done, but I wouldn't have stamped that or coloured it for you. But this, I'd send you a little bag with all your pieces in it. So, the first one we're going to do is, these are upside down now, is this one. So, here's what I did. I got a number of greens out. I've got Old Olive, Pear Pizzazz, and I've got my little daubers all labelled up so I know which is which, because they don't look terribly, well, you can tell them apart, but, and this is Mossy Meadow, so I'll put that over there. Right, so all you do is get one piece of card rather than two, and you just start playing around. So you need to cover the whole thing. Doesn't really matter where, how. You just want a variety of the colours. So can make a bit of a mess. And I've already had my shower today and washed my hair, so, which is the only way I can get my things off, my fingers, the inks off of my fingers. So I guess hair washing tomorrow will fix it, because I know I'm going to make a mess. Let's just put that there. That's the Old Olive. Now let's get a bit of Mossy Meadow in here. One tip I have for you, if you're going to do this a lot, well, we haven't got to that piece yet, but you might want to keep an eye on your ink pads and re-ink sometimes. I did mine last night because I've been playing around with this a lot. A bit here, and I think a bit more Pear Pizzazz. You can see I'm building up this lovely it does, okay, it doesn't look fantastic at the moment, I'll give you that, but it's going to look fantastic. Although I made one the other day and I put it to one side because I actually thought that would be a really nice background, and I kind of ground bits like that in to get different effects. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it, but I am going to make a card out of that. So you can, you know, do whatever you like. Here, smushing in around, and there we go. So, now we've done that, we need to put it to one side because we're going to emboss on it. And so it needs to be really, really dry. So what I did, as you may have seen earlier, is I already did that. The daubing piece, and you don't really need to see me cover three things in daub, not daub, daubing. Is that a verb, do you think? I'm not sure. Anyway, so here's one I prepared earlier. If anyone is a Brit and used to watch Blue Peter, they'll be quite familiar with that. So here we are. So now I get I'm going to use my Stamparatus, just because it means I can put all of these on the one sheet already. I'm going to take this out, and also the spongy thing for the photopolymers. I know I could have switched, I've just turned this over and put the other thing on the back, but I thought if I have to change plates, it would hopefully remind me that I need to adjust, either add or take out the extra padded piece for when I'm using a photopolymer or not. So I put it right about there. I think I can get away with it there. Let me check. Oh yes, it can come a bit further. Right, so let's, if you still got one of these, then use it. And then going to ink up. I like to put that under there, so this is more or less horizontal, because it's really hard to try to match your ink pad to the angle that you've got if you haven't got it flat, and then you get ink all over the plate, which then transfers to your fingers, which then gets everywhere. So that's my tip for, one of my tips for today is to put an ink pad under there. It's about the perfect depth or height to make this easier. So first I'll mark that up nicely. It should be nice and juicy because I refilled it last night. Oh, that looks good. Let me just push that off the edge. And it's much easier to push it than to try and pick it up, even with the washi tape on it. So I'll put this out of the way for a moment. Get this back. Oh, yes, that looks lovely. And this is clear embossing powder. Where I have my finger. And that looks good. Okay, let's put this back. Looks like I need more clear embossing powder. I wonder if I have any in my backup stash. Hopefully. I really must get some little pots. I think it would be a lot easier than doing it this way. Okay, if you've got your volume up, now is the time to turn it down. Hello, Cheryl. Thank you for watching. And there it goes, glossy. I love this moment. It's so brilliant. And I don't do a lot of metallic embossing except at Christmas. So having found another technique, or a technique that will let me do my embossing all year round is rather exciting. I really love this set. It's just so pretty. There we go. That is that done. I'll just leave that there for a second to cool down, and we'll do the sentiment while we're waiting for it. So the sentiment is also from the Forever Fern set. It's You Can Do This, which I thought was rather nice. I have to confess that when I showed it to my brother, my finished card, he's like, it's nice. I'm not sure about the sentiment. I guess, I don't know, he's thinks it's a bit too soppy, I think. But hey, you know what? It's good. So I'm going to do it in early espresso. Just check that that's straight. No, it's not. So put it about like that, I think. Perfect. Is it perfect? Yes, it's good. So get some dimensionals. On this pile somewhere. I put my dimensionals. Here we go. And there's some more. That seemed to be. Okay. Put that there, I think. Now I see why I'm out of edges. I love edges. I've heard rumours that some people just throw out the edges, but I like them, especially for the longer labels that you're trying to pop up, because just cut yourself a little piece and you're good to go. And I'm just putting these here to make sure it doesn't sag. I'm not actually going to pull them all off, because that would be overkill. It doesn't need 300 dimensionals to just stick this on, but it does need a lot to make sure that it's nice and secure. Don't you agree? Okay, so now here's the messy bit. So this is nice, good. So we just take the early espresso and slap it on, like so. It can get a little messy, but hey, we're crafters. We like mess, don't we? Well, I do. So there you go. No, a bit more there, maybe. So as you're holding it down, you get your fingers a little grubby, but that's okay. Right, I get my paper towels out. Give it a little bit to dry, and then we start polishing. Getting the colour off of the raised image, like so. So you're getting the colour off, and it's letting the colours show through better. See? This one's a bit dark, so I'm going to just remove the ink from that. Sorry if it's rocking you. I need another shower, or at least another hair wash. And that, let me get this out. I've got this nice new big bottle of Stampin' Mist. It's much bigger than the old one, which is great, because I was always seeming to be in need of a refill. You know, whenever I was working, it was like, oh, haven't got any Stampin' Mist left in my bottle, so this should solve the problem. So I'm quite excited to have the new bottle. Right, so let's clean my fingers up a bit. This is still drying a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. So, let's get rid of this as well, like so. Now let's pull out my my seal. You can see it makes a mess here, even makes a mess on the back. It's quite crazy. Let's see how I'm getting on with learning my new, not brilliantly apparently. I have found though that if you don't break it properly, you can restart it by just going over another piece of, if you start with the thing on a piece that's already out here, it will help move it along, and you don't have to actually put it on your fingers, which is a good thing. Is it that way, or is it, I think it's this way. Up to you really, isn't it? So, and then we just take off maybe that one. Oh, how about this one too? Why not? And then we'll just apply that to the card. And there we have it. One Joseph's Coat card. So that's the first one. So let's move on to the next one. I figured that now that you've seen how you do the underside, you don't really need to see it again. So here's one. Well, plus it needs to dry, which would be, you could use the heat tool on the first setting if you want, but I think it's easier just to wait. Right, so going to use the Blossoms in Bloom set for this one. I'll put this on the Stamparatus as well, but I need to remove this one, take that off and hold on to it and put this in, because the Blossoms in Bloom is a it's a photopolymer set, so it needs the padding. Okay, and this is going to go this way up. I find it's helpful to have a little mark to show me where I set it up that time, because sometimes I move it around a bit, but this is I think there. Oh, have I got it? I've got it upside down. Okay, so that won't go there, that will go here. Yeah, maybe a touch this way. Perfect. Right, so we get the embossing buddy out. We ink this up. Forgot to put something under it, but I think we're okay. And then we stamp it down. Missing a bit there, I think. So here's the other advantage, of course, of the Stamparatus, that if it doesn't come out perfectly, you can just go back in. That one, I think. a little more. Okay, I think that's good. We can move this out of the way because we're done with it. And bring this back in so that we can collect up the clear stuff, which I just threw onto my, there we go. A little bit more there, I think. Yeah, that looks, if I put it at that angle, you can see it, I think. Right, that's better. Of course, I can't get that bit back. Oh well. Yes, definitely need more. Right, so turn your volume down again if it's too loud. There we go. Oh, I forgot to tell you which colours I used for this. This is Magenta Madness, Pacific Point, Just Jade, and Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to use Pretty Peacock to do the covering. Well, actually, let me first do the sentiment, give that a minute to cool down. So this, I used the Stitch Rectangular dies, that's the smallest one. And the Happy Birthday came from, and I'll tell you in a second, actually from Blossoms in Bloom as well, so. See if I can get this straight from here. Wow, I'm impressed. This, of course, is when it would be nice. Oh, yes, we've still got some edges. That far, I think. Oh, we could have gone a little further. Let's just. I've got some mini ones here, I think. Yep. Just put an extra one there. There we go. So that's good to go. And yeah, that's good now. Here we go. Just smear it across your card. while there, I think. And as before, we end up with mucky fingers. So let's start. And there we go. Yes, I think that's rather nice. And we could put the, or do we put it the other way up? Yes, maybe that's better. Okay, so, and I noticed that the pretty peacock looks almost like black on there. Interesting. Okay, so before we do that, let's give it its mat of gorgeous grape. Okay. And then should throw them away, shouldn't I? I don't think we can get in the way. Right, so let's see what happens when I'm not paying attention. There we go. Oh, I'm flicking again, aren't I? Yes, I can't help it. Let's make sure that's the right way up. There we go. And we'll just pull this off. Throw that out. And apply that. And there's number 2. Okay. And then for the final one, we're going to do this one, which I think is my favorite. So this is Just Jade, Shaded Spruce, Pretty Peacock, and Bermuda Bay. So as before, I've saved you the boredom of watching me daub, and here is our piece of dappled, shall we call it, right, there we go. Now this one, it goes first, for no good reason actually. I'm going to put that there, like so. Then I'm going to ink up the other one. And it can go there. Okay, now we sprinkle. up this before I start heating and blowing it all away. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. And the top on there. Right, okay, so we're going to heat again. I once had a shirt with most of these colours on. It was really good. Might be why I picked those. I don't know. It's a long time ago. Okay, so this is what are these? Stitched labels, I think they're called. I forgot to write it down. So let's see what happened here. And no, that's not quite right. Oh, luckily I have a spare. Let's practice first. If I do that straight. Oh, left hand down a bit. Okay. Good. Oh yes, I'll need that in a second. And we'll just put some, oh, they want to come together. Okay, fine. Oh, these two as well. Well, they're so friendly. Right, and then we take this and just make sure I get that clean. My re-inked Memento. There we go. Then we take our, oh, hang on, I missed a bit, didn't I? Did I actually miss it, or is it just on the embossed piece? I think it was on the embossed piece, so it's all right. Okay, let's now there we are, and then we'll put it on its mat of Just Jade. There we go. And then I'm going to mount it onto a basic black cardstock, or card base. Go, and then just take off a couple of these backings. And add the sentiment. And there we go. So let's get the others. So this is what we've made today. I think it was really fun. I'm really enjoying, well, I don't care that I get ink all over me. It comes off, who cares? But I just think this is a fantastic technique. I've only been playing with it for about the last week or so, and I'm in love with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it pops up every now and then while I'm when I'm making other cards. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this and that you'll have a go at it. And if you do, I'd love it if you'd post on my blog or in my or on my Elegance Cards in Facebook, and show me what you make, because it's really fun. Anyway, I hope you'll join me again next week at 11 o'clock on Sundays. And don't forget, if you place an order with me for 25 bucks or more, I'll send you these pieces so that you can make these cards. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a great day.